Good morning, everyone. Okay, let me see if they're out there. Good morning, everyone. Oh, there they are. On this beautiful Colorado day, picture perfect day. My name is Happy Haynes, and I am honored to be the Executive Director of Denver Parks and Recreation, and I want to start by thanking all of you. It feels like a sort of thanking you for coming again. For many of you were here just a year ago, perhaps, for the groundbreaking for this great, the reopening of this historic Cranmer Park Plaza. This park, sandstone terrace that we're sitting on, and the Sundial have a very unique and colorful history. At the turn of the century, Mayor Robert Speer made a commitment to transform the then very dusty city of Denver into a city in a park through the City Beautiful movement that was sweeping the entire country. It resulted in a network of green parks and parkways throughout the city. His vision included 24 acres of land at the crest of this hill, the highest point at that time in East Denver, at an elevation of 5,434 feet. Because of the spectacular view that we're enjoying today, this place was originally named Inspiration Park, and it was later renamed Mountain View Park, and then finally renamed again in 1959 to honor George Cranmer for his vision and leadership during his service as Denver's manager of parks and improvements. This sandstone terrace was originally constructed in the 1930s, showcasing the mountain peaks of the Colorado Front Range. And this unique sundial was donated by George Cranmer and was originally installed in 1941. Unfortunately, 53 years ago, in 1965, vandals completely destroyed it with dynamite. Following that destruction, a community effort, you're gonna hear some themes here. A community effort raised funds to replace the destroyed sundial with a slightly larger 6-foot replacement, using the original 1940s drawings. Then in 1992, additional funds were also donated to have the terrace surface revitalized. However, due to outdated construction practices and decades of freeze-thaw weather cycles, the plaza surface fell into a state of disrepair and became one of Colorado preservation's most endangered places. So fast forward to this time where we are, and a few short years ago, residents of this community again joined forces with the park people to raise funds to supplement city dollars to reconstruct the terrace and refurbish the sundial. And through those efforts, the park people Save Our Sundial campaign raised $830,000. Yeah. That deserves an applause. Of the entire $2 million project cost. So we want to thank all of you for your support, all of the folks who contributed to that campaign. Thank you especially to Kim Yuan Farrell. Where is Kim? There she is, right in front. And to Denise Anderson for their tireless leadership on this project. This time around, the entire plaza was removed and historically reconstructed with an improved drainage system and modern engineering to support the long-term sustainability of the site. As stewards of Denver's park system, we want future generations to be able to experience the magic of this beautiful, unique plaza and sundial, a timeless centerpiece of Cranmer Park, pun intended. I would like to recognize a few people from the Parks and Recreation Planning and Designing Construction staff, starting with Jennifer Olson, the project manager. Wave your hand, Jennifer, and be recognized. Standing in the back. They worked along with Krish Construction, and do we have our construction team here today? Raise your hand, Krish. Thank you so much. They worked alongside Krish Construction to restore this site to its original historic significance and former glory. Adam Smith, Brian Nevins, and their park operations crew. Are you guys here? Way in the back. Thank you. They're the guys who work diligently every day to keep this park beautiful, and we thank them for their efforts. I also want to thank the hundreds of contributors who made the reconstruction project possible, especially Mayor Hancock, City Councilwoman Beth Sussman, who's sitting right here. Stand up and be recognized, Beth, please. The Park People Save Our Sundial Committee, Kim, Denise, and members of the committee, please stand and be recognized. Yeah, they deserve that. They did a lot of, I know those are the people that some of you were like would turn and go the other direction at some point when they called, when they were coming by, I'm sure. But it's all well and good now. And I also want to acknowledge our former colleague and a real champion for this park, former Councilwoman Marcia Johnson. Thank you for being here. And so I would love to ask our current champion for this park and all parks in East Denver and across this city, a real friend of our department and a fierce advocate for the parks in this community, Councilwoman Mary Beth Sussman.
Well, thank you, Happy. This is quite a meaningful day for me. I know many of you will probably remember this park from your childhood. I remember it from my children's childhood. I've been in the neighborhood for almost 50 years, and just seeing how this looks is so overwhelming. It's so beautiful. To have it restored to what George Cranmer's vision was is so meaningful to all of us. And to have it restored in such a beautiful way, with the inlay still there, I can't tell you how moving it is to be able to celebrate this day. And like Happy, I remember when we were told this is one of the most endangered historic places in Colorado. That just made me feel so sad. And sure enough, the neighborhood, the community, the parks people got busy on finding a way so that we could replace this beautiful plaza. I can't thank Marcia Johnson enough for getting the ball rolling. I mean, certainly I was there even before I ran for office when we were trying to figure out a way to replace this park. And of course, the memories are really wonderful. I've had several letters of grown-up people saying about the times they loved to swing on this thing and they wanted to come and try it again, although they're like 70. But they wrote me letters about how they like to swing and they could do tricks on the dial. I was at one of the fundraiser parties, and apparently there were several people at this party who knew about that little explosion in the 50s, and they knew who might have been the vandals, but nobody was talking. Everybody has kept that quite secret. But we are so happy to have this here today. Thank you so much for the contributors to this. Thank you. Look at the crowd that has come out. This is so meaningful to us. And thank you to Parks and to the design team and the construction team. I just can't thank you enough. And I'm so happy that we have our plaza back and better than ever. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. I am Kim Farrell. I'm the executive director of the Park People, and we are absolutely delighted for this day. This has been a long time coming, and the Park People has been honored and proud to be a part of this project's journey. The Park People is a 49-year-old nonprofit organization. We support Denver's parks, recreation resources, open space, and urban forest. We've worked in partnership with Denver Parks and Rec for nearly 5 decades, raising money for park improvement projects. We've planted more than 50,000 free and affordable trees through our Denver Digs Trees program. The Park People was excited to join forces with the Neighborhood Save Our Sundial Committee and to adopt this fundraising project for many reasons. We love this park's tie to George Cranmer, this visionary leader in the history of Denver's park system who gave us Red Rocks Amphitheater and Winter Park. He loved this park, he lived near this park, and he, as Happy said, personally donated the sundial. We love Cranmer Park's unique landmark, this giant 6-foot sundial, or a children's climbing appliance, as Wikipedia would have it. We love this sweeping sandstone terrace with the beautiful mosaic panorama that introduces us to the peaks of the Rockies and marries plains to mountains and land to sky. This is one of Denver's special places, part of our cultural heritage that adds to the richness of the park system and of our city's landscape. This hardworking park is a great neighborhood park. It's beloved in the hearts of many. It's integral to the childhood memories of those who grew up here and to many throughout the metro area who visit it or use this park to play sports throughout the year. Special places like Cranmer Park Sundial make our community a beautiful and vibrant place. We are so pleased that this treasure, rebuilt now with a solid foundation, more resilient masonry system, comprehensive drainage system, will be saved for future generations of Denver's children. We believe intensely as an organization that we as a community need to rally and invest in these types of projects. The city can't do it alone, and we are proud to be there working alongside them and alongside you to help make these things happen. The Park People continues to accept donations towards the Sundial Preservation Endowment Fund, which will help support maintenance needs of the Sundial and Plaza. So I can't forego the opportunity to ask folks to consider a gift to the Sundial's endowment. We even have donation envelopes on the back table there. In a moment, I will turn over the mic to Denise Sanderson, who is going to speak to the great gratitude that we feel for our friends, partners, and supporters who've made this project a reality. We have so many people to thank. There is one thank you that I felt I needed to make directly. Over the course of this project, it has been my absolute pleasure to work with all of the members of the Save Our Sundial Committee who've organized events and rallied support to ensure that the Sundial has a future. It's been my special privilege to work very closely with Denise Sanderson, our fearless leader of the Save Our Sundial Committee. Denise volunteered well over 2,000 hours of her personal time over the last 4 years, leading our community, proofing grant proposals, meeting with funding partners, planning and executing festivals here in the park in rain and in shine. Unfortunately, more often the former than the latter, as many of you might recall. Microbursts and rainstorms and everything. She is an amazing member of the Denver community and a tireless champion of the Sundial, and I will personally miss working with her. So on behalf of the Park People's Board of Trustees, our board president, Lori Schabendor, and I express our deep gratitude, Denise, for your remarkable dedication, leadership, and gift of time to this project. Thank you for your generous spirit and commitment to our community. You are an absolute inspiration. So I'm gonna hug Denise and then turn it over to her.
Denise and I are listed on the pamphlet as co-chairs, and I think I'm even first, but that wasn't right because she's really the champion who led everything through this. So it was a pleasure to work.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure, thank you. Lessons I've learned today. Don't be the last speaker. Everybody takes all of your notes and already says them. So, Today is a day that I knew would come, but sometimes it felt like forever. It felt like it would never get here. But through the generosity of this community, and many of our donors are here with us today, we did it. We're here. I really do echo, I want to thank Kim. It has been my pleasure to work with such a competent person, a fabulous organization. And just so you know, during the course of this project, she had 2 children. It did take a long time. Anyway, and I really like that she was the one this time asking for money, because Happy was right. There were times that I thought people ran away when they saw me, that they were like, oh no, that woman's going to ask me for more money. But truly, from the earliest days when a few neighbors gathered with Mary Beth Sussman and her staff, trying to figure out how we could partner with the city and make this happen, to the day that Allison Koff, who many of you know, she was a high school sophomore at the time. She's now a college senior. Again, time marches on. I can go on all day about time metaphors, just so you know. Allie came to me and on her iPad had a proposal for our first event in the park. And it was called Here Comes the Sundial. And many of you were here that day. The first day got rained out. We rescheduled for later in the summer. I'm not above thinking that lightning might strike me today here. And Allie just had this vision of a community event that would pull the community together in support of this. And she can't be with us because she's at University of Michigan in school. But I don't think we would have had the same kickoff start that we had without her. Donors came forward that day, very generous donors. One donation led to an amazing relationship with the Harms Fishback Trust. They were one of our two $200,000 plus donors. They also helped us raise a lot of money by leveraging that, several of their donation gifts as community challenges. And this community stepped up and met that challenge, and we are all forever grateful. We had an amazing committee made up of people like Allie, who were a new friend, and some of my oldest or longest time friends. Happy thanked the committee, and I would like again to call out just by name, and please stand because you all really did the yeoman's work. Lori Shabendor, who's modest, she was a great leader. Tim Buchanan, Bill Cook, Andrea DeCue, who was at those very first meetings, Sally Hooks, Jenny Klein, Amy Knox, who I don't think is with us today, Allison, Judy, and David Koff, her parents, Ken Mallow, Leslie Newell, Kathleen Phelan, Cheryl Reese, Scott Robson, Kathleen Rust, Hank Sape, more about Hank in a minute, Morna Steninger, Susan Sweeney, Trey Taylor, Tracy Willis, and Moore Zucker. Thank you all. You all were the glue that kept us going. And on days when I didn't think we'd get there, many of you would walk the neighborhood with me and remind me that this was a great neighborhood with great people who would step up. We also worked closely with DPR staff, and I want to thank Gordon Robertson, Mark Taylor, Scott Gilmore, Mike Hallweger, and Jennifer Olson, who closely managed the construction process and got us to today. So thank you to all of you. There were a couple other people who preceded Jennifer, but you know, staff changes over time. And Hank Sape of our committee is the one who stepped up and attended the weekly construction meetings as our representative to that ongoing process, making sure that everything got done, the T's were crossed, the I's were dotted, and everything happened as it should. We also want to thank the City Greenhouse for bringing us these planters today and adding to the festive decorations. Most of all, today's about you. Today is about thanking our donors in this very public-private partnership in which we endeavored to get us to this day of ribbon cutting. On the back of your program, and there are many more people here today than I thought, so If you didn't get a program, I apologize. All of our donors are recognized there, of those above the $5,000 level. And there were hundreds more people who supported this cause. Many people have asked me today where the donor recognition area will be. It is a flat area just behind you. If you look back there, it's between the trash can and the park bench, among the other amenities to the park. And Erickson Monument, who created the Sundial originally, gave it its facelift for this reconstruction and created all of the historic markers and the analemmas. Those are the panels down here that tell you how to read the sundial. And that silver thing is called a gnomon, which is a really great word to know if you play Scrabble. So just keep that in mind. Erickson will be here in the next few weeks to etch in place the donor names on that wall. So trust us that we are a little further behind than we wanted, but you only get one chance to get it right, and that's what we're focused on, is getting every name spelled correctly, every inscription appropriately placed. So bear with us. There's more fun to come. And the other part that's yet to come is, as many of you know, the city regulations require a 1% of construction cost for any project over $1 million to include a public art component. With a $2 million project, that budget was rather slim. So one of our donors, the Patton Davis Foundation, stepped up and made a large contribution to increase that budget. The Public Art Selection Committee has been hard at work. They narrowed the field from 50 applicants to 5, who will be here later this week for a site visit. And then those 5 are being paid a small commission to create an actual concept for what they would place in the park. And then the Art Selection Committee will review those 5 submissions. And of course, then it will take more time for the piece to be developed. But sometime next year, we should see an amazing piece of public art. That process has been fascinating, and it is a great collaborative effort between Parks and Rec, Arts and Venues, that department, and the panel, which consists of neighborhood representatives, Councilwoman Sussman, and some artists. So you have a wide range of experience and expertise helping select this piece. So forget where I live if you don't like it. So today we're all here to say thank you to the donors. Job well done to the community for making this day happen. And if you haven't yet, take a chance, walk the plaza. It's just so exciting. The terrazzo is bright and it will be maintained, partly with that endowment fund. I can't stop myself. I'm a fundraiser at heart. And know that when the snow falls, as it will eventually, the way it was reconstructed, we have a drainage system, the water will drain off, and we should not have the degradation that we've had in the past. So if Mary Beth and Happy and Kim would come up, oh good, Happy has the scissors, I was looking for them. We will cut the ribbon, and if you didn't already get an opportunity, DPR brought some kites, because you know this is a great kite flying place. Probably not for me because bad weather will move in, but take a kite, enjoy the opportunity to visit with other members of the community, and enjoy that working together we did save our sundial. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Before we cut the ribbon, because you can't say thank you enough, I want to acknowledge a couple of other folks. Number one, our partners from Facilities Management, who are with us all the time, every time we have an event. Thank you for making this such a beautiful event. And Denise already recognized a few members of my team, but you know, when you're at an event and you don't recognize your family, you're in trouble. And I do, my 2 deputies, John Martinez and Scott Gilmore, are here. A number of staff members from planning, please raise your hands. You mentioned the horticulture staff who not only brought these plants, but plant these beautiful beds in this garden, and all the maintenance team and other members of our marketing team, DPR people, please raise your hands. We're just grateful for everything that you do for our parks. And just so fitting for this historic occasion to have another piece of an important part of our city's history celebrating with us here today, the Denver Municipal Band. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
All right, are we ready?
Sure.
It's going to take all of us to hold these things.